Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meet Rotary. We hope you're settled in for a fun and inspirational hour. I think, to my knowledge, this is the first time that we've tried something like this, and we're hoping you have a good time tonight. We're grateful that you've joined us, and I'm personally grateful to Jenny Stotts and her team for putting this whole thing together for us this evening. My name is Price Finley. I am the governor nominee of District 6690, serving Central and Southeast Ohio. When I'm not having fun with my Rotary Club in Upper Arlington, I'm practicing law at the law firm of Bricker and Eckler in downtown Columbus, or hanging out with my wife, Alice, or more recently, practicing law here in my living room and trying to give Alice enough space so that she can do her day-to-day work for the Upper Arlington Education Foundation. Now, I know what many of you are thinking, a lawyer in a Rotary Club. Shocking, right? In my own club, they once had to put a cap on the number of lawyers who could join our club at any one time because there were so many of us. Kind of sounds like one of those how many lawyers jokes. Anyway, while Rotary was certainly built by businessmen more than 115 years ago, we've evolved into a responsive and relevant organization where everyone can feel welcome. While people still join Rotary for business networking opportunities, we're seeing a lot of people join Rotary and then stay in Rotary because of our focus on service to our communities and fellowship with like-minded people of action. Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change in our communities, across the globe, and in ourselves. I can give you numerous examples of the ways that Rotary has created lasting change in me. That's the hidden gift of Rotary. Among the 59 clubs in our district, our 3,500 members focus on creating opportunities for personal and professional growth while making a tremendous impact in our communities. Our members come from all walks of life, but we're all in the business of turning big ideas into reality. Just a few months ago, Rotarians in District 6690 raised over $125,000 in a matter of days to fight hunger in Southeast and Central Ohio in response to the COVID-19 related shutdowns. A few years ago, we built a trade school in Guatemala, the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And we have had a long-standing relationship with an orphanage and school in Nairobi, Kenya. In our district alone, we've raised over $1 million to eradicate polio from the face of the earth. By the way, worldwide, you should know that Rotary has raised over $2.5 billion for the polio eradication effort since we started that work in 1985. We're really proud of that effort, and we are this close to ending polio. Rotarians in our district even cargo shipped a few fire trucks to Guatemala to protect several small villages that didn't have any firefighting capacity. While we focus on doing good in the world, Rotary also makes the world a better place by training our members to be leaders, to be peace builders, and to create connections across our worldwide network. Over the next hour, you'll hear from Rotary members from all around the region talking about how Rotary has created lasting change in their communities and, in the process, changed their own lives. While we'll keep guests muted to improve sound quality during the presentations, it doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from you. Fill up the chat box with your questions and reactions. We have several Rotary members on the Zoom session today who are ready to respond. And now it's my pleasure to introduce past district governor and member of the Lancaster Rotary Club, Tara Kravik, who will serve as the MC for tonight's event. Tara?
Bryce, I'm very excited to be a part of this event tonight. I've been a Rotarian for almost 19 years and have served in several different capacities. I truly believe that there is no other organization quite like Rotary. Rotary is known for making a difference in communities all across the globe. One of the great things about Rotary in Central and Southeast Ohio is that you can impact positive change and help others wherever you are. All across our region, we have community leaders coming together to help their neighbors. If you have a great idea about ways to improve the lives of people in your town, Rotary might be a great place for you to gather support to make that idea a reality. Here to share a little about his own service to his community through Rotary is Nathan Davis, immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Ironton.
Thank you, Tara. It's a pleasure to be here. One of my favorite and most rewarding projects is the Dictionary and Thesaurus Project. Every year, the Rotary Club of Ironton donates dictionaries to every third grader and thesauruses to every fifth grader in Lawrence County. And by taking advantage of the District 6690 grants, we have been able to expand into Scioto County. Seeing a child's face light up when they are handed their very own book that is theirs to keep is an amazing experience, and it's one that hooked me on Rotary. Some of the children that receive these books are not used to getting anything at all. Unfortunately, Lawrence County is a very impoverished area, and when they receive these books, they get incredibly excited and happy. One thing that I think is important to point out to each club is that each club is a part of a different community, and it's important to understand the need of your community and take action from there. Literacy is very important to Rotarians around the world, but so is fighting hunger, fighting disease, saving mothers and children. So if you see a need, take action, because you and your club could very well be the miracle that someone needs.
Sounds to me like Nathan has had several Rotary moments, times when you get to experience the impact you can make through Rotary. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing with us this evening. One of the things Nathan shared that really sticks out is how Rotary clubs are a reflection of their communities. Each of our 59 clubs has their own unique projects that meet the needs of the towns, villages, and cities they serve. For some members, Rotary is a way to reach across the globe and connect with people from other countries. Connecting with people to learn about culture and partnering together to solve problems is commonplace in Rotary. Our colleague, Rachel Mazur of the Short North Rotary Club in Central Ohio, saw her life changed when she jumped on board with a service project in Kenya.
Thanks, Tara. Hi, I'm Rachel Mazur. I have been a Rotarian for 18 years, and I am a member of the Short North Club. And I'd like to talk to you tonight about Rafiki. And Price had mentioned it a little bit earlier. This is a 20-year-long service project in Nairobi started off for kids who have been orphaned by AIDS. I've been to Rafiki twice, and I'm actually planning my third trip, hopefully next year, with my 12 and 13-year-old daughters. And to me, Rafiki is just an amazing demonstration of the power of Rotary. So about 20 years ago, Reverend John Nana, who's a hospital pastor from Kenya, and Dr. Terry Davis, who's a Columbus Rotarian and pediatric heart surgeon, bumped into each other and had a conversation in an elevator about helping kids orphaned by AIDS and wanting to do something to make Kenya a better place. From that one conversation, the Rafiki AIDS Orphanage was founded. I got involved in it 15 years ago. And when I went to visit there were about 30 kids living in a rental apartment in the city of Kikuyu, which is just outside of Nairobi. There was a small concrete courtyard for the kids to play in, and they depended on donations, mostly from Rotarians, to pay for medical expenses, rent, food, and school. There is no public education there, so school is all tuition paid. When we were there, neighborhood kids were not particularly kind to the orphans. They threw rocks over the gate and they were calling them names when we were there because of the stigma around AIDS. We made the trip to dedicate a water well on recently acquired acreage to transition the kids from the city to their own land, which was a vision of Reverend Nana's. And the water well was the first step in getting the kids there. My second visit was 5 years ago. And when we got off the bus, we went to the land that we were dedicating that water well on 10 years prior, and we could not believe our eyes. And I still can barely hold back my tears. There were buildings everywhere. You can see this slide. There were kids playing soccer. They were laughing. And it was just a completely different scene than those kids in that concrete courtyard that we had seen 10 years prior. We had no idea what we were doing, and somehow this happened. So when we got there, there were 2 dormitories housing over 60 orphans, so twice the amount of orphans as the last time we were there. They had a cafeteria, a kitchen, their own farm, their own medical clinic. They had their own school, not only with the 60 orphan kids, but also 40 local tuition paying kids called the Rafiki Academy. And this time the purpose of our trip was to hold a concert in celebration of a new music school that we were doing at the Rafiki Academy. So take 2 to today. The orphanage houses about 80 kids. The Rafiki Academy has over 100 local tuition paying kids. And we are super excited to say that for the first time in 2019, the Rafiki Academy actually paid for the orphanage, where it is now even financially sustaining. The school is the highest ranking one around. It provides busing for the kids to and from. It has their own technology lab with internet, an art program, now a music program, and they actually have a choir that plays 3rd in all of Kenya. They have their national certification, and they take kids on off-site field trips where they can dream big. These things are unheard of for a school in the area, which is why their enrollments keep growing. Rafiki also now has a bakery. They have their own livestock. They have their own chickens for eggs. They have a barber shop, and they have their own clothing shop. All of these services, the education, clothing, food, used to rely on donations, and today Rafiki is doing it for itself. It's not only providing a home for the orphanage, but services for their community, such as the medical clinic, the school, and the food. In the 15 years since I've been to Rafiki, it went in front of my eyes from a place where kids threw stones over a gate to now we're a place where local kids want to go and everybody is thriving. The dream today is that Rafiki will continue to grow, house over 100 orphans, and educate over 400 local kids. I am so thankful and grateful to be part of the team of Rotarians that makes this dream into a reality. I think this is a great example of a sustainable project that Rotary does. Thank you so much, and back to you, Tara.
Like Rachel said, connecting with people who share a different culture or perspective is a key vehicle to build peace in the world. Peace and conflict resolution is actually one of Rotary International's primary focus areas, and we are proud to be identified as a peace-building district. Not only does our international work focus on peace, but we also work hard to have those conversations right here at home too. Learning how to have these types of conversations not only helps our communities, but it also helps us personally and even in business. Mary Jane Shackelford, our district governor-elect and member of Zanesville Daybreak Rotary, is on the call today to share a little about her favorite peace projects and opportunities for others to jump on board.
Well, good evening, everyone. And those that know me would expect a woohoo. So I'm so happy to have everybody on the call. And thanks, Tara, for that introduction. Yes, I have been a Rotarian with the Rotary Club of Zanesville Daybreak since 2006, and it was probably the best decision of my life. For more than 100 years, Rotarians have joined together from all continents, cultures, and industries to take action in our communities and around the world. With the commitment to achieving lasting change, we work together to empower youth, enhance health, promote peace, and most important, advance the community. While Rotarians can serve in countless ways, Rotary has focused its efforts in 7 areas, which reflect some of the most critical and widespread humanitarian needs. Those 7 areas of focus are disease prevention and treatment, water and sanitation, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, economic and community development, and then our newest area of focus was just added this year, the environment, and then of course, peace, and conflict prevention resolution. The peace projects that the Rotary Club of Zanesville Daybreak have implemented encompass 3 of these areas of focus: literacy, the environment, and of course, peace. Since 2015, the club has celebrated and recognized International Day of Peace, which is always September 21st every year, by planting trees and collecting food for a local food pantry, volunteering to read and distribute books focused around the Rotary 4-way test. And for those on the call, the Rotary 4-way test is actually Rotary's guiding principle. And it is of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? So kids in the Zanesville, Muskingum County area received a book that basically talked about the Rotary 4-way test. We also encouraged the community to participate in a week of random acts of kindness. We held a peace walk and donated and dedicated 3 peace benches placed on school and college campuses. In addition, we have held, in partnership with Outward Bound Peace Building Centers, experiential programs for area high school freshmen focused around building positive peace. We spent about 2 hours discussing the difference between negative peace and positive peace. The day finishes with a peace mapping exercise demonstrating the 8 connectors or pillars to build a peaceful world. Thanks, Tara. Thanks for everyone being on the call. Now back to you.
I've known MJ for a long time, and her passion for Rotary and peace projects never ceases to amaze me. Thank you, Mary Jane, for all you do to further the object of Rotary. Because Rotary is rooted in service, every project we do, from literacy projects to community cleanups to eliminating food insecurity, we are building peace within our communities. Rotary has a gift for opening opportunities. We've seen this play out in our fight to eradicate polio from the planet. For many of us here in the United States, polio is a long forgotten problem of the past. But for some members of our global community, the threat of polio is very real. Here at Rotary, we decided to do something about it. I hope you'll be as inspired by this next video as I am.
For each of us, there are moments that define us. Moments where we fought for what we believed.
The moment Berliners have waited 28 years for.
When we pushed the boundaries to the unknown. Moments that remind us of a past we cannot accept, and that create within us the desire to take a stand and do something. 30 years ago, polio was claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of children just like me. There was a vaccine that could help stop it, but it wasn't reaching all of us. Until you decided to step in and do something. You decided to find a way to reach us all, no matter where in the world we might be. It all started with one small project. And 6 million children were saved from polio, forever. The world took notice, and things began to change. On streets, on trains, planes, boats and bicycles. Over deserts and rivers, mountains and valleys, through jungles and war zones, you never stopped. But it can't end here. We are this close, the closest that we've ever been. 3 countries remain, and we must continue to strive to reach every last child. Because every life truly does matter. And together, you have proved that when you put service above self, the world can be a much better place.
Since 1985, Rotary has been the foundation on which the polio eradication program is built.
Last year, we saw just 37 cases, the lowest number in history.
Thanks to your efforts, more than 16 million people are walking today who would otherwise have been paralyzed.
Thanks to your vision, humanity is on the verge of one of the greatest public health achievements in history.
While our work is not yet done, the remarkable dream that you had 3 decades ago to tackle one of the world's greatest public health challenges, the end of polio, is nearly a reality.
Thanks to you, we truly are this close to ending polio.
Thanks to you, we are truly this close to ending polio.
The video we just watched is from just a few years ago, but since then we've reduced the number of countries with active polio cases to just 2. Nigeria was declared polio-free earlier this year, an exciting step forward in our work. While Rotary members have turned up to support the eradication effort through donations, what you can see from the video is that we have Rotary members on the ground in polio-stricken zones administering vaccines to children. If you're like me, you're probably thinking about another public health crisis that is gripping the world right now, COVID-19. One thing we are really proud of is how the infrastructure and systems we've created to eradicate polio are proving useful templates for how we will fight coronavirus. And Rotary members answered the call again. Right away, Rotary International heard the cries from Rotary clubs around the world about the hardships facing their communities in the wave of COVID. The Rotary Foundation has already given out over $4 million in grants to support local projects. Remember what I said about Rotary being a way to bring your ideas into focus? I hope you're feeling as inspired as me. The neat thing about being a Rotary member is that we get to be a part of this important work. But all along, we are growing and changing, sometimes without even realizing it. Dana Vogelmeyer, our district trainer and a member of Columbus Rotary, has joined us tonight to share a little about her own Rotary story and why this organization is so special to her.
Thank you, Tara. 20 years ago, I moved to West Texas, and I didn't know a soul except for my husband and my daughter. I was working closely with the local Chamber of Commerce as we were hiring a lot of people and building our building. And I asked one of the folks there what I should get involved in, where I could go, because really what I was looking for was to find some other women my age, professional women, so I could meet some people and make some friends. And he said, why don't you come with me to Rotary? So I went with him to his club, and then I checked out another club that was closer to where I worked and probably a better fit for me logistically. And the first day that I went, the program that day were 2 women who were members, and their program was about an experience they had just had 1 week up in the beautiful mountains in New Mexico, spending it with 90 girls that were 17 years old at RYLA, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. And they were telling about their experience, and they were so moved by everything that had happened that week and just the way they were explaining it. I thought, I love that, and I want to be a part of that, and I want to be friends with those women because they were so amazing. So the next year I went with them, and I went every year for 9 more years while I lived in Texas. The last year that I went was 2010, and by that time my daughter was 17 years old, so she got to go as a camper too. But what I realized during those years while I was a camper, or while I was a counselor, I was learning so much from those young girls, and it made me a better mother. I was listening to them talk about their issues, about relationships, about bullying, just things they were going through, and it helped me become a better mother. I also got an opportunity to meet girls that I never would have crossed paths with otherwise. I had spent all my years before that growing up in the Midwest. So now I was meeting girls that, there were two that I met that were from an Indian reservation in New Mexico. There were several girls that had grown up in Mexico and then later moved to the United States, and so English was their second language. My club sponsored girls that went from the Boys and Girls Club. I met a Miss Texas teen and lots of athletes, lots of really smart girls, and just had a wonderful time and just a really great bond with them that I never could have imagined before. It was just such a wonderful experience. And I really enjoyed that final year when my daughter got to go. That's her there in the middle. And those are two of her friends from her high school class, and they all went together. It was a great, great experience. And Rotary provides us with a lot of different types of opportunities and experiences, especially to meet people we wouldn't meet otherwise and to grow personally and professionally. And that's what I love about Rotary, but I wanted to share this particular situation with you because it was so close to my heart. Thank you, Tara.
Thanks for sharing, Dana. I know a lot of our members have found a home in Rotary because of our focus on youth services. Rotary has a vast network of youth exchange programs, and each year we help dozens of teenagers from Ohio experience new cultures. We actually have on the line today Catrice De Leon from Worthington, who completed Rotary Youth Exchange in Mexico.
Thank you, Tara. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Catrice De Leon. I'm currently a junior at Ohio State, Go Bucks, and I'm studying linguistics and Spanish. Now, I'm going to ask you all, what would you do if someone knocked on your door and offered you an opportunity to travel abroad for the first time, to build relationships so strong that you think of the people you meet as your second, third, or even fourth families, and to acclimate to a unique culture as if it were your own? That's what Rotary does for over 8,000 students a year. And it's what Worthington AM Rotary Club did for me in my sophomore year of high school. I spent 10 months in Tabasco, Mexico, getting to know my Mexican host families and peers from around the world, taking weekend trips to my abuela's house on the countryside, and of course, enjoying a whole lot of late night tacos. The year flew by, and the following June, I said my tearful goodbyes and headed home. But the impact of the relationships and perspectives I gained through the experience stayed with me. I chose to study linguistics to learn how we use the nuances of language to connect with each other, despite the barriers there may be between us. This past winter, I was finally able to share my life with my little host brother when he came to visit us, just as he had done for me. We still keep in touch, and now I can tell you that there's a certified Blue Jackets fan in Tabasco, Mexico. And even now, as I'm approaching graduation, the prospect of living and teaching abroad feels more accessible than ever. I don't have to worry about whether or not I can survive in an entirely new environment. Thanks to Rotary, I already have. Rotarians do more than just sponsor exchanges. They play the necessary role of connecting students with the vast communities outside of our own, a foundational experience that transforms not only how we see the world, but how we see ourselves. On behalf of my fellow youth exchange students, we will strive to pay forward the investment that Rotary has made in our communities and in our futures. Thank you.
Thank you, Catrice. In Rotary, we are in the business of building leaders, no matter what age or career. I'm really pleased to introduce you to incoming high school senior Gavin Shields, who's going to share a little more about how he came into his own through his connections with Rotary.
Thank you, Tara, and hello, everyone. Again, my name is Gavin Shields. I am the St. Clairsville High School Interact founder and president, and I attended RILA in July of 2019. When I started my Interact club in the fall of my sophomore year, I had a lot of uncertainty. I didn't know whether people would be interested or whether I could even keep it going successfully the whole year. To my surprise, there were a lot of people that showed up to my first meeting, and a lot were really interested in what the club had to offer. After a successful first year, I got stuck trying to figure out how to improve upon the club for the next year. This is where RILA came in. Our local Rotary Club was kind enough to send a couple of my board members and me to RILA, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. They taught us many of the important leadership and communication skills needed to not only run an Interact club, but be an active member of our communities at home. More importantly, in my case, they taught the value and importance of Rotary and why people should be excited to be involved in it. This was exactly the kind of information I needed for the next year. It helped me get my Interact members motivated to get involved and understand why community service is important in the first place. Sadly, our year had to be shortened due to COVID-19, and we'll certainly face more challenges going into it this year because of it. However, I know I will use my experiences with RILA and past years of Interact to help me navigate the best path for my Interact Club this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. Having a recent high school graduate and one still in high school myself, I love to hear about what the young people in our communities are doing. As I hope you've learned, Rotary has so much to offer, both to our communities, but also to the people who join. Especially during a time when we use terms like social distancing, it's more important than ever to stay connected any way we can. Many of you might have stumbled onto this meeting ready to learn more about how you can build new relationships through Rotary. Christy Kennard is joining us from Athens Sunrise Rotary. She is the current president and was a founding member of her club. She helped write the book on how to melt together community service and fun.
Thank you so much, Tara. I appreciate the introduction, and I'm so pleased to be here. So building a strong club requires a thoughtful combination of both service and fellowship opportunities for your membership. While you can have options for service and options for fellowship, our club went a unique direction by combining both of those facets for one event. We combined our monthly social happy hour with an opportunity to also serve our community. Each month, our club holds a happy hour called Drafts for a Difference. We partnered with the local craft beer hall. They agreed to donate $1 for every draft beer purchased on the night of our event, and we worked with them to pick a slower weekday to which they would also benefit. While the event happens every month at the beer hall, we highlight a different community organization each month. The beer hall writes us a check for the drafts purchased that night. Our club matches that donation, and we write a check to the organization that we are highlighting. It is a three-way partnership that allows our club members to build relationships between each other, provide financial support, and spread awareness on community organizations that are doing good things, and supporting a local business. Our club has found this partnership to be extremely beneficial and a huge success in not only meeting the wants of our membership, but also attracting new members who align well with the way we like to hang out and have fun. It helps us to collaborate with other organizations, find service projects to take part in, and to increase the visibility of our club and the good work we are doing. Since its inception 3 years ago, we have distributed over $20,000 to our community, and we have reworked the nomination process so that we align with those areas of Rotary focus that MJ mentioned earlier, so that we can be sure that we're meeting the service ideas of our community, and we also are able to sign up new speakers as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. I hope you enjoyed these snapshots and stories from some of our members across the region. It's really just a sampling of all Rotary has to offer, and we hope you feel inspired to learn more about your local Rotary Club. To share a little more about how to get involved and opportunities to build your network through Rotary, I'd like to introduce our district's membership chair, Jenny Stotts, from the southeastern part of our district.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you so much to all of our guests for spending this past hour with us. I am so forever grateful to work alongside all of the people that you've seen on your screen tonight and heard from, and I just feel inspired by them each and every day. For me, Rotary has opened up opportunities to build new friendships and connect with people across the state, the country, and even the world. Just earlier this month, I collaborated with a fellow social worker from New Zealand, and we worked on an article about family violence intervention. So while that project was meaningful to my work as a social worker, that connection was born through Rotary. And I hope that as you listen tonight to each of these stories, your head is just buzzing with the possibilities about how you might benefit from Rotary too. And while we heard some incredible experiences and projects during this past hour, I hope that you know that it's really just the beginning of what Rotary brings to the table. And we have representatives, as you've seen, from Rotary clubs all across our district on the line tonight. And I'm certain that you'll find someone nearby to connect with over Rotary. You can find a club in your area or perhaps near your workplace by checking out our website, rotary6690.org. Rotary Club meetings are open to anyone, and I know that any of our clubs would be delighted to welcome a new guest. Many of our clubs are meeting virtually right now due to the pandemic, so hopping into a meeting is actually easier than ever, especially because our clubs all meet at different times and different days. And if you're not sure of how to join a Rotary meeting, I hope that you'll take a moment to jot down my email address, and I would be very glad to join a meeting with you. In fact, visiting fellow Rotary members and guests at meetings is one of my favorite parts of volunteering with our district. Rotary clubs have a lot more flexibility these days than in years past. So a potential member shouldn't be too worried if they can't commit to weekly meetings. That's okay. We know that you're busy. So many of our clubs are mixing it up and offering multiple ways to stay engaged through meetings, through social events like Christy mentioned, or through service projects like Nathan mentioned. My husband, in fact, is a member of my Rotary Club, but he rarely gets the chance to attend our club meetings because of his work schedule. But he almost never misses a social gathering, and he helps out with a lot of our service projects too. So if there aren't enough people within the same, or if there are enough people that seem to be having the same issue in terms of time or location for any of the clubs that exist, some clubs can even elect to form a satellite or kind of extension of their existing club so that everyone can participate. The opportunities are really endless right now with Rotary as we've become more and more flexible. Another question that we get a lot has to do with the affordability of Rotary. Each Rotary Club actually sets their own due structure. And in some clubs, membership is mere dollars per month. And some clubs have built-in meals or costs that might be related to the meeting venue. So it's okay to visit a few different clubs. And in fact, I encourage you to visit a few different clubs to find the perfect fit that aligns with your goals and with the time and location that you're able to commit to. Part of our job here on the district team is to help you find a club that meets your needs and where you can make the most impact. And so now I am very pleased to introduce our final speaker of the evening. He's certainly a guy that inspires and motivates all of us and sets an example for how far you can go through Rotary and how much good you can do. Please help me welcome our district governor, Steve Heiser. Steve's muted. We'll unmute him here.
There we go.
There you go.
That should work. That'll work better. Thank you, Jenny. I really appreciate it. As we close this session, all of us want to reach out to those of you who are not intimately familiar with Rotary. At its core, Rotary is fellowship and service. As the fellowship among Rotarians and our individual desires to do good in the world creates a culture that keeps members involved in service locally and globally. But Rotary is an infinite game, as is life, and we are always looking for more players with whom to share our fellowship and to increase the amount of good we can do in the world. Our program tonight highlighted both of Rotary's twin towers. Our added benefits are that Rotary is a place where you meet persons with whom you want to do business. Rotary is a place to acquire new leadership skills. And Rotary is a place where you can just kick back and enjoy an evening with friends. We need to thank all of tonight's presenters who did an excellent job, and our district membership chair, Jenny Stotts, who created and organized this event and whose passion for doing good in the world led her to Rotary, and we are all the beneficiaries of that decision. We kindly ask that you take time to complete a 1-minute survey that will be delivered to your email inbox at the close of tonight's event. If you want to get involved in something really creative, check out the details in the follow-up email regarding an upcoming informational session for a new web-based Rotary Club we hope to launch soon. Rotary is the most impactful volunteer service organization the world has ever known. No other volunteer organization was so intimately involved in the formation of the UN after World War II, and no other volunteer service organization made a pledge to the children of the world to rid our globe of polio, and then put together an organization that has rid the world of 99.9% of all polio, but will not rest until the final 0.1% is also gone. If people are in need, there is a need for Rotary. And until that need does not exist, we will never stop serving, and we will never stop asking others to join us. We hope you will join us and increase our ability, your ability, to serve those in need. Become Rotary happy. There is no greater feeling on earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, so much. And thank you to everyone who has taken